point. Can I ask you something? I mean, I think this is such a good point. You're telling us about a young man. I love the way you started with at 40, you start to do reflection, right? 40 values. And life and business are connected. And you're also talking about the fact that this young man was looking for value within himself, right? Of how can I be important to the world? How can the world see me through items? And you basically said, well, that's very interesting, but instead of getting items, what I try to do is quote unquote build wealth in my sleep. And now what you're saying is that young people are quite frustrated and depressed. I think there's something to that. May I ask, um, are you mentoring any young people when it comes to them learning about themselves, doing an assessment of themselves, and then trying to maybe shadow you like you once shadowed the person who helped to mentor you at 20? I want to say thank you. You're such an amazing gentleman. Uh, Thank you. I want to thank you for this interview. You are so fascinating. 30 minutes is not enough, so I'm going to ask you to come back again and do another time with us. And I want to thank our audience for being with us. Thank you for being with the business of life. And sir, do you have any last thoughts for our audience? True. Leaders are readers, right? Pardon me. Leaders are readers and readers are leaders. So we'll put your book there. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And to our audience, remember, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I only for myself, what am I? If not now, then when? And that's by the philosopher Hillel. And I say, if not me, then who? Thank you once again for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next podcast. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
You're amazing. 30 minutes is not enough for you. You need like two. You're amazing. There's so many things you can talk about. I think the next time I would love to talk to you about your mentoring and you're getting awards and how that works, because I think you really affect a lot of lives in a very, very positive manner. Yeah, and it's the heart. I mean, people have experience, but they're not necessarily good mentors, right? So you can have experience, but one does not translate into a good mentor. A good mentor also is someone who sees where you are, respects where you are, and takes the time and energy to help you get somewhere else. That's a lot. That's a lot. So congratulations on the award. That's fabulous. I want to thank you for making the world better just by being you. So I just want you to know that. And I think you know not only you're important in your community in India, you're important all over the world. And you and your life make a difference. Every single person that you give time and energy to, that you believe in, is another person that also gives it to someone else. And it's like a circle, right? You put a pebble in the water, and then you see this circle, and you think, what is that? And it's just one little pebble. But that pebble makes all the difference. And so, considering how many people you've mentored, oh my goodness, the circles in the world are enormous coming from you. So, congratulations, sir. When I publish this, I'll send you the link so then you can pass it on to people that you know and put it on your profile and so on and so forth. Okay. And right now it looks like this podcast most likely will be coming out sometime in December. We're going to try to do all of these. We were doing it once a week, but I think we're going to go to twice a week because we have so many. Thank you so much, sir. Prepared. You don't need to be prepared. What you are and who you are is more than enough. That we don't do preparation. I guess the most important part of the podcast is you, right? Not necessarily what you say, just you. Sure. I think your book is going to do well. I think you'll do well. I think for people knowing about it all over the world is really important. And I love the fact that it was okay, I'm 40, let me take stock. Let me do an assessment. Let me figure out what's working, what maybe I can improve on, where do I think I want to go. Most people don't do that. They usually do that after the midlife crisis, not before. So you are definitely an intellectual. Bravo. Thank you, sir. And I say readers are leaders and leaders are readers. And I don't know very many leaders that are not readers. I just don't. So thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to talking to you again, and we're going to keep touch on LinkedIn. If there's any way I can be of help or assistance to you, I'm here. Okay? I really, oh, sorry, I really love what you're talking about, this idea of, well, first of all, congratulations for actually doing a self-assessment, the SWOT, right? Strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And I use that myself, and we use that in many communities. So bravo. It's a wonderful tool to take stock of who we are, what we want, and how to go forward. So I love that. And now you're also talking about the fact that we talk about all these successes, but we don't talk about quote unquote failures. But what's really interesting too is the terminology, right? So of failure. And what you're saying also when you talk about your boss, when you're in your 20s and they're saying you can learn from me, you can learn from what I've done. You can build your career yourself from what I've done, not make the same mistakes. But I really honor you for taking your 40th year, looking at it, making a book, and then making assessments of who you are, looking at your maturity, looking at what you want to do with your life, and then also saying, you know what, professional life is good too, but let's be clear, it's not just about success. It's also about the way on to success, because success is not an end road, it's a journey. And success is not a point that just um, you're successful and it stops. No, of course not, because we have life and life is cyclical. So bravo for you. I love that. Can you tell us more stories about and many of us have this idea about professional success and what it means. Why don't you tell us a story about where you did not meet the mark? I don't like to call it failure. I look at it as a bullseye, right? And I look at trying to hit center. And if I don't hit center, I don't feel like I failed. I just feel like, okay, I didn't quite do what I thought I wanted to do. I didn't quite hit center. So, can you tell us about any examples, even closer to being 40, when you didn't hit center and you had to realign what you wanted to do and evaluate it and try something else? From your book about you. You're such an interesting person. So happy that we are together. I don't know if you heard of what's happening in Spain. Yeah. Oh, you are very kind. You're very kind. Thank you so much for adapting to me. I really appreciate it. Do. So let me first say that you're the most important person of this podcast. So I might ask some questions, but 30 minutes is not enough time. I keep finding that 30 minutes is not enough time to have people like you talk, because there's so much that you can talk about. There's so much that's interesting for for the audience. So I might ask some questions, but I don't do a lot of talking because oh, wonderful. Great. Okay. Okay. This is wonderful. I'm looking forward. Let me see how to say your name. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Business of Life. My name is Dr. Ariel Rosita King, and we welcome you to join us today. We have a very, very special guest from India, Mr. Sandesh Siddaram, and he's going to introduce to us a very, very important and interesting book that he has written. Sir, welcome. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about your book. Tell us the title of your book. Why did you decide to write it? Fabulous. That's fabulous. Because so many people spend a lot of time trying to think, is that what I should say? Is this is how it's taken? So that means that this book is truly a reflection of you and your thoughts at the time. That is really, really, truly unique and wonderful. Bravo for you. Yeah, for people, because all of us have a profession, and all of us, if we're fortunate, live to 40, and all of us have the possibility to learn lessons. This is wonderful. May I ask, can you tell us about the three most important lessons out of the ones that you have in your book? And do you have any stories associated to those three lessons?